Welcome back to the Executive Education Alliance. I'm Ryan Draving, faculty member, and today I'm going to walk you through creating your smart website structure. Your website can be one of two things. It can be very basic or disorganized, or it can be very well organized, easy to navigate, and easy for search engines to decide what is relevant and what is not. So we want to make it the latter, something that is very well organized, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. That's going to help your visitors get to convert to a lead and help you gain new clients. It's also going to help the search engines drive more visitors to your website, also helping you gain new clients. So let's take a look here and look at a typical website structure in just a moment. What we're going to accomplish today is teaching you the smart site structure and also helping you create your top level categories for the keywords that you have already gathered. So once you do that, you're going to take your keyword list that you've gathered and organize it into those top level categories. I'll show you what I mean by top level categories right now. If you think of your website as a hierarchy, you have your home page at the very top of the hierarchy. It's the core section of your website. It's where everyone will go to first if they just type in your main domain name. And it's what should always be linked back to from every other page on your website so that people can always find their way back there. There's a reason you want people to be able to find your home page again. Your home page is the easiest way for you to explain the entire website to people who come to your website. You can explain what your priorities are, what you do best, and you can also help them navigate through the website. It's like walking into a shopping mall and seeing the map directory of the entire mall. You don't have to walk through the entire mall store by store to try to find out what's there and go up and down different floors to try to find the right store. It's the same thing with your website. You don't want visitors to have to make all kinds of unnecessary clicks just to get to the content that they're looking for or to find the information that they want. When you do that, you lose credibility with your visitors. And if you lose enough credibility with your visitors through that and through other methods, things like looking unprofessional, not having trust symbols, not having social proof that you are good at what you say you are good at, and a lot of other things that we're going to cover in this set of courses for you. If you lose that credibility, at a certain point they're going to leave, and it's not going to take too long. So you want to try to cover all of your bases, and that's one of the things we're going to do here. Help your visitors get to where they want to go, and we're going to help Google and the other search engines be able to index, so be able to gather information about what your website is about and which pages are most relevant for what keyword terms. So after your homepage, you're going to be linking into the other pages on your website, but not all of them. You may not link into all of them from visible links. And in fact, you may not link into all of them at all. You're going to be linking into the key pages. And the things that visitors see first should be the most important sections of your website. So what we're going to do is look at what are the main links on the home page that people should see right away in your navigation bar. That's what you normally see at the top of a page or on the left-hand side of a page. That shows you some of the primary links on the website. So if we look at a good, well-designed law website, what we will see is main category 1, main category 2, main category 3, and other categories in that main navigation bar, in addition to a link to the home page, a link to an about page, a contact page, a articles page, maybe a blog page perhaps, verdicts, and the testimonials that you get, you really want to have scattered and dispersed throughout your website so that visitors are constantly seeing that reinforcement and seeing that social proof. But verdicts, if you don't have particular special verdicts for every one of your categories, you may want to have a separate page just for your verdicts. If you have proof that you have achieved great results and verdicts in each one of your categories and subcategories, then perhaps you can just integrate those in as well without having a separate verdicts page. But this is what you want your visitors to be able to find. Your 3 or 4 most valuable categories. These are the ones that are most profitable for you. They are your ideal customers. So if you're a personal injury lawyer, for instance, one of the things that you're going to want to show to people very likely is construction accidents, car accidents, wrongful death, and I'll show you an example of this. Unfortunately, you don't have room in your navigation bar, and people aren't going to necessarily read everything in your navigation bar. So you don't want to put all of your categories in there. That might take up a tremendous amount of space and make your website look cluttered and make it a little bit harder to navigate. It also will make it harder for people to distinguish what you are best at, and so you may gain some additional customers from some of the other categories and lose customers from the ones that are your most important categories. Or you may just lose customers in every category. Either way, try to keep it simple. Let's take a look then at what happens once you have those main categories on a website, because your job is not done there. Now, a lot of websites stop at 1 page, 5 pages, 10 pages, but the websites that do really well for SEO and that convert really well typically will have a number of deeper pages. I'm talking specifically about law firm websites and attorney websites. So what we want to do is have these main categories just be the starting point for that section of the website. So for example, in a mall, the main category would be apparel. But you wouldn't just stop at apparel and say, okay, you can find apparel on floor 1 in store 3. You're going to list what are the types of apparel stores that you have there, and it's a similar thing here. What we want to do is have subcategories, and each subcategory will be a subsection of the main one. So for instance, if the main category is construction accidents, a subcategory might be ladder falls. It might be accidental injury with equipment. There are a lot of different subcategories for each of your main categories for the most part, and you may have as few as 3 for a main category, or you may have as many as 10 or 20. Again, keeping it simpler is great. You don't need to cover everything under the sun, but cover everything that you want your customers to find you for. So the type of customers that you're going after, you'll want to have a page for those people. If it's only one person every 5 years and it's not a high value customer, then don't worry about having a page for them unless you want to start to attract more of that kind of customer. So let's take a look at this in a real life website. I'm going to show you here the first result under New York City Personal Injury Lawyer for Google in an SEO results section. And I'm hiding specific sections of the website. That's because of copyright issues. Want to make sure that we don't violate any copyrights in here. So we are just showing you primarily here the navigation bar. And what we see up here is that they have home, they have about, they have an FAQ section, which can be helpful. They have an attorneys and staff section. So if you have multiple lawyers, that's always a nice thing to have, because and that can fall into the about us, or it can fall into its own separate category. Then you have personal injury areas, and that's what they're really on this website doing as their only main category. They're saying personal injury is our category. They also have verdicts, contact us, articles, blogs. And then they even do things in other languages, and we'll get to that later. So if you have customers that you cater to in other languages, stick with us for that video. If you don't, then you can skip over that video when you come to it later in the SEO series. Right now, what we're going to do is take a look at what's underneath the personal injury areas category. And you'll notice that, like I was talking about before, we have construction accidents, workers' compensation, victims of premises accidents, wrongful death, vehicle accidents, medical malpractice, and even a very specific category, Zadroga Act 9/11 victim compensation. So very specific category there, but for the most part, these are general primary large categories, and that's really what you want under your other categories section. Now, if you're doing your website the way that we recommend for SEO, you're going to take 2 or 3 of these categories and have them in your main navigation bar. So the ones that are most important to you, once again, put those in your main navigation bar and make some extra room. So perhaps you don't cater to Spanish speaking and Polish speaking people. If you don't have an attorney on your team that handles those cases and that can speak those languages fluently and understand those cultures, then you may want to leave those out. You might want to combine the articles and the blogs page into one page, or get rid of verdicts if you're able to put verdicts into each section, and add in construction accidents and workers' compensation accidents and vehicle accidents as your 3 main categories, and then say other accidents and have this drop down here. That is going to help you with your SEO. Now you'll notice that even when you go down here that you have sub-categories. So really these are main categories. Personal injury areas is just like saying our services. But you have your main categories and you have your subcategories here. So you'll notice here's Ladder Falls. I looked up this law firm because they are doing a great job with their SEO. I was curious to see if they ranked for Ladder Falls. And they do. They're number 2 there. And if you go through and look at their other terms, you'll see that they are doing well in the other areas for the most part as well. No one wins on every SEO term, and it's important to recognize that it takes time, it takes effort, and part of what you're seeing here is that they have taken some time and effort to create unique content for each page on their website. And you don't have to do all of this at once. You may start with only main categories. You might even start with just an About Us, a Contact Us, and a Personal Injury Services category. That's okay. You're going to build out your website over time, and we're going to teach you how to create a website that allows you to do that easily. So don't panic, don't worry, and remember that most of your competition does not have a website that is as complex and well SEO'd as this particular website. This is an example of some best practices. Not all of this is best practice, but they're doing some things very well on this website, and we want you to take note of that. So we're going to take you now back to your actions for today, and your first action is to create your top level categories. So if you are a personal injury lawyer, construction accidents is very likely one of your top level categories. Figure out what your other top level categories are, and you may have 5 of those, you may have 10 of those. That's okay. Just include all of them and make sure that you create those top level categories. Now do this in a document where you can then take your keyword list and organize it under those top level categories. And in that keyword list, don't have commas. At the end of each keyword phrase, press the enter key so that you're going right to the next line. So you want to have a list of keywords that's just a keyword and then a new line, a keyword phrase, new line, keyword phrase, new line. That's how you're going to organize your keyword list, and you'll understand why in the next video. We're going to use that format of your keyword list in order to finalize that keyword list. And once you have done this and taken that action, make sure you do it before the next video. Once you've done it, we'll circle back around and finish off your keyword list. Thanks for joining me today. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.